What's going on, Whisper Nation? We are back at it. We're the Fantasy Whisperers. I'm Johnny Game Time, and I will be joined by my co-host, or the main guy that runs this show, Big Travy. In just a second, we're going to be talking about these top 5 late-round tight ends that, let's say you want to punt the position. You don't like taking one of the big 3. You want to invest your draft capital elsewhere on those picks, and you want to wait for those late-round tight ends. We're going to tell you which ones you're going to want to grab on this episode of the Fantasy Whispers.
Right here.
What's up, Big Travy?
Whisper Nation, welcome in, Johnny. We are going to talk those top 5, not top 5, but 5 fantasy tight ends we think can help you win your league. And that's because, as Johnny said, you may be punting the position. But if you're seeing my face or hearing my voice, please consider giving us a like on whatever platform you are using to consume this content. And if you're new to the Fantasy Whispers, head on over to thefantasywhispers.com. Check out all of our content that's there and follow us over on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button if you're watching there. Hit us with a like right now and share this on whatever platform you are using. We would appreciate that. You have no idea how much we'd appreciate that. And then over at thefantasywhispers.com, we've got articles, we've got posts, we've got podcast episodes. We got it all over there, and including the 2021 fantasy football draft kit that we just launched last week. Get over there and get that thing before your draft start ramping up in the next couple months. You're going to want to consume all of this information. But as Johnny said, as he so eloquently put, man, we are going to go ahead and go over these 5 tight ends, Johnny, because look, you could go get yourself a Travis Kelce. That's the ultimate cost. You could pay a little bit less than that, but still a lot of cost, and get a Darren Waller or George Kittle, maybe even a Mark Andrews. But we're going to tell you about some guys, if you decided you wanted to wait even further, guys we think that are capable of climbing up into that top 5 position and really making your ROI such that you end up winning your league because you're able to get other players where you would be taking a Travis Kelce or a Darren Waller. Johnny, you got to be feeling good, though, man. Your Suns 2-0, 2 wins away from an NBA Finals championship.
As DeAndre Ayton likes to say, that's 2. So, we are 2 wins away. Man, it has just been, this week has been so surreal with just people in the Valley and then, fans of just the NBA and getting to know them and such. It has been a fun ride. We've been waiting a long time for this. 2 games. It's not over yet. Got to win in Milwaukee, but I'll tell you.
Oh, Johnny, it's over. I'll just tell you right now. Yeah, it's over. Well, there's nothing Milwaukee can do here. And I love Giannis, and I think they got a good squad over there. But this Suns squad, too deep, too tough, too focused, too locked in right now. They got all their pieces too healthy. They're just ready to rock and roll.
I do just got to add, it was pretty funny on Scott Van Pelt last night. They had Legs, and Legs was like breaking down the play. And Scott was like, well, I mean, they've been in this position before, against the Nets and they were able to come back and win. And Legs just had like this blank look on his face. And he's like, yeah, this is a different dog and a different beast. Like, this isn't the Brooklyn Nets. It was so funny. He just had like this blank look like, bro, it's over. It's like, yeah. But that's the NBA talk that we'll do. This is not an NBA show, but
I appreciate Will Atkinson coming in here. Says some say Suns and 4. Suns and 4 has become an anthem for you guys.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
A rally cry.
A rally cry. You guys love it. But anyways, we do got to talk some fantasy football. So thanks everybody for watching. If you're a big fan of the NBA, drop a comment in. If you're not, drop a comment in. Let us know what you're thinking about fantasy football. We're gonna talk these 5 fantasy tight ends that we think you guys can help win your league. But first, we're going to get into some news and nuggets, Johnny. You know the deal. I'm going to rip through some of these headlines, and then I'm just going to ask you to tell me which one you think is the most important for Whisper Nation heading into 2021. All right, number 1, Kansas City quarterback Patrick Mahomes excited for 2021. Don't know how this is a headline, but this is how it goes. Kansas City Chiefs QB Patrick Mahomes' toe reiterated that this week that he's feeling healthy and eager.
His toe reiterated?
His toe reiterated. That toe was in parentheses for those of you who didn't know that I'm reading right now. He's healthy and eager for the 2021 season. The toe is feeling great, he said during an interview on NFL Network on Thursday. I'm out here playing golf, being able to walk around the course. I've been running, cutting, jumping, throwing, doing it all. Seems weird to be doing all that during golf, but whatever. So I'm just excited to get back to training camp and have another chance to make a run at it and win a Super Bowl this year. Okay, so I mean, this is typical puff piece, but it looks good that his toe surgery is not lingering. He sounds good. In Chicago, Johnny, there's a key role for Damian Williams headed here. Shaw Media, Sean Hammond says, Chicago Bears running back Damian Williams could be a true backup for David Montgomery, according to Sean Hammond of the Daily Herald. Before we get into this, Johnny, I think this is just funny because last year the Bears really did not have a backup. Remember, they had Cordarrelle Patterson going in. So this just sounds like a scarred beat writer saying, like, "Oh, we have a true backup now."
I know, it's almost as if they forgot they signed Damian Williams, and they were like looking on the roster, like, "Oh wait, we actually have another backup running back here."
Right.
Oh wow.
Our third headline is in Denver. Wide receiver Jerry Judy is a breakout candidate. The source is The Athletic, Nick Kosmider. He says Denver Broncos wide receiver Jerry Judy was selected as Athletic beat writer Nick Kosmider's team breakout candidate, saying that the second-year wide receiver has looked sharp during the offseason workouts. Good to hear after a season plagued with drops for a guy who had sure hands. Our fourth headline comes out of Las Vegas, the desert. Running back Canon Drake, a receiving threat. The NFL.com's Gil Brandt says that Las Vegas Raiders running back Canon Drake should be featured more in the passing game than he was with the Arizona Cardinals, and could often line up as the X or Y receiver in the opinion of Gil Brandt, who wrote that article. The Philadelphia Eagles say that running back Jordan Howard is not a roster lock. They haven't really said that, but Tim McManus of ESPN.com is saying that Jordan Howard's not a roster lock. This is big news for us here in fantasy
I think everybody in the world could probably tell, even if they did, like I could probably go ask my wife and be like, "Hey, do you think Jordan Howard is a lock for the Eagles?" She'd be like, "No."
I honestly forgot he was on the Eagles. Thought he was still on the Dolphins, to be honest with you. Kenneth Gainwell was signed by the Eagles. Obviously, Kerryon Johnson. So there's a lot of other competition. I don't think Jordan.
No, he doesn't go by Kerryon anymore. He goes by knee brace.
Okay.
Yeah.
Atlanta, in Atlanta's news, the Atlanta Falcons might be projecting a bigger role for wide receiver Olamide Zaccheaus. The Falcons wire Dean Worley says Zaccheaus should be the immediate benefactor for the trade from wide receiver Julio Jones of the Tennessee Titans. So that kind of goes along with what you've been saying, Johnny, this offseason. And then finally, Johnny's going to love this one because he loves Desean Jackson. Wide receiver Desean Jackson, top option for the number 3 wide receiver job with the Los Angeles Rams. This is according to Lindsey Thury of ESPN.com. This isn't a shock, Johnny. We obviously think that he will be in line for that, but he probably won't play enough games to warrant any kind of fantasy consideration.
Yeah,
Johnny,
he'll be the wide receiver 3 for week 1, and then that's it, because he's going to go down in week 1. And
of those 7 headlines I put out there, which one do you think is the biggest? I mean, I think this is an easy one, but I gave you a layup there. But which one do you think is the one that makes the most impact for fantasy football in 2021?
I do think so. Just touch the Zaccheaus or Zaccheaus. We just call him Oz on the show.
Yeah,
I do think that's a big one. I do like that one mostly because of just you like that because I do think he is a nice late round dart throw for those people, and I think everyone was on the Russell Gage, and I was saying no, go this way, but that's not the one I want to talk about. Canon Drake is also interesting. That one we've talked about on previous shows. We mentioned, stepmom Lauren, how she called this a couple weeks ago. It was very impressive. I do like that. I do think some people are sleeping on Drake, and I never really. We talked about this on past shows. Last year we never understood why Drake wasn't getting more passing work because he is a good pass catcher, but that's the reality of what they were doing. But Travis, the one I want to talk about of all these stories the most, and I think maybe you do too, I hope so, is Jerry Judy.
Yeah. Because
Jerry Judy was a wide receiver that, you and I were talking back and forth, and we're like, man, Jerry Judy, we were thinking, like, is he going to have another bust? Is he breakout worthy, or do we see him being a bust again, And we know what the talent, we know the route tree and all of that. So I was fading him a little bit, but Travis, I got to say, after really doing a little bit more research, really watching some tape and stuff of things that are going on in the off season with Jerry Judy, as well as watching some tape on Jerry Judy last year, man, this guy was open so much, Travis, and it wasn't his fault that he wasn't better, it was literally Drew Lock's fault. Drew Lock was so bad and so inaccurate. And if Drew Lock can get a little bit more accurate, or they do switch over to Teddy Bridgewater, which is more accurate, right? We saw what Jerry Judy did. Even for I still like Sutton. I still think Sutton can have a really nice big breakout year, or bounce back year, I should say. But I do think that, we saw DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson with a Bridgewater both get over 1,000 receiving yards. So I definitely think that could happen for Jerry Judy. And I'm starting to think he's a real steal where he's going, Travis.
Yeah, I think Judy he's kind of QB proof in a way. He's still got over 100 targets last year in his rookie year. Obviously, the catch rate was low. We talk about catchable balls. We talk about rookie wall. We talk about COVID offseason to not really get in, shape or in the right chemistry with the quarterback. But that should all be behind him in the rear view mirror this year. And then if they do switch to a Teddy Bridgewater, man, oh man, is that good for Jerry Judy. He could compile like a Michael Thomas. The only thing I have concern with is those 100 targets came with mostly Courtland Sutton out of the offense because of the injury. So you will want to see how that target tree narrows with Courtland Sutton back in there. But you're getting Jerry Judy at such a discount because of that dismal last year. People aren't really buying into the target share that he had just yet. So comes at a discount. I think if we can start seeing him really break through, that's going to be good news for Jerry Judy truthers like Johnny Game Time Hicks here, who is just all over Jerry Judy this offseason. No. Anyways,
unreal, dude. You've changed, man. It's Friday.
We gotta talk about these tight ends. We gotta talk about these tight ends. But before we do, it's that time of year again, Whisper Nation. The Fantasy Whispers Draft Kit is officially here, and it is going to be better than ever. Our draft kit is fully loaded with premium player projections and rankings, consistency charts with over 3 years worth of data, cheat sheets, strength of schedule charts, and so much more. The TFW Draft Kit is available for an industry low $15. So head on over to thefantasywhispers.com to get your kit today. I'm also going to drop that link right into the chat. So never you mind if you're listening at home, make sure you go over to thefantasywhispers.com because you'll need to do that. There's no link for you while you're listening. That's not how these.
Hey, that's work. Not yet. Anyway,
that's the next.
That blockchain, that blockchain and 5G technology. When that merges, I don't know. Somehow, that'll happen
because of what they did with the vaccine. They put some of that technology inside your body already.
Those microchips, so baby.
Soon you'll just be able to think, hey, take me to this website, and it will.
Yeah.
All right. We got to talk these tight ends. And just a reminder, our ADP that we use is from 4for4.com, 4for4 Fantasy. Make sure you guys check them out. They are a great site for your ADP. Johnny, we got to talk about the first guy now. People might be a little bit on our case here because he's not exactly a late round tight end, but this is the guy that is the first guy you're starting to think about outside of that big three, so to speak, because he is a guy that could really touch. I mean, everything's lined up here, and that's TJ Hawkinson of the Detroit Lions, currently going in the 5th round, Johnny, as the 6th tight end off the board. You think he should be higher ADP-wise, but you're kind of okay with where he's going ADP-wise because you get to get that profit of that pick. We have a couple questions coming in. Can Hawk lead his team in targets? I think that's a possibility this year, given all the weapons that are not there. Does Goff limit his ceiling? And where are you at with this when you look at Hawkinson in this projection? Because you picked him. You handpicked TJ Hawkinson. You said you wanted him for this show. You said put him on the list first. I want to dive in.
Yeah, absolutely. And I am a huge fan of TJ Hawkinson this year. Normally, what we talk about it, in history, you kind of want to avoid those middle round kind of tight ends. They generally don't pan out for you. However, last year we did see Darren Waller come out of this group and take a major, step forward as far as tight end production. We wouldn't be shocked on the show if he becomes the number 1 tight end this year. But I am really excited about TJ Hawkinson because, Travis, you talked about these Detroit Lions, and we bring up a lot of Detroit Lions on the show because I'm a DeAndre Swift truther, so it's of course we're talking about
secret Lions fan.
Yeah, low key, maybe I am, but I want to say this, and this is no diss to any of these guys. I'm going to say this with all due respect, but Rashad Perriman, Tyrell Williams, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Geronimo Allison. Those are the other pass catching options that have to compete with TJ Hawkinson. And I'm sorry, they're not that's not a lot of competition there. DeAndre Swift will also get targets in there. That's probably, honestly, that's probably the most competition he's going to face is from DeAndre Hopkins as far as DeAndre Swift from a talent perspective as far as receiving the ball. But here's why I like him so much more than just, look at what room he's in and why I project him to be, the best pass catcher on this offense. I do think he will be the number one target for this offense for Jared Goff, because when you look over the last 2 years with Jared Goff, I know we don't like to believe he was a good quarterback. He's a game manager. But when you look at what he does in general, on average, 23% of his target market share or targets go to the tight end position. That's what we saw for the Rams. And they had way better wide receivers than what Detroit has right now. Then you look at Anthony Lynn as the offensive coordinator. You look at what he likes to do in general with his offenses. He usually targets his tight ends from 20 to 24% in his offensive schemes, lining up perfectly for Hawkinson. And I'll nail it. I'll put the nail in the coffin. And if I can't sell you on this one, then I don't know what to tell you. Maybe I can sell you on one of these later round ones, or Travis can. But TJ Hawkinson, since coming into the league, besides that 1 year when he got injured, so he didn't play a full season, he has averaged 21% market share for this Detroit Lions offense. I do not see that changing this year, Travis. And so, yes, I will say as well, with these tight end rankings, the ADP, it is slightly inflated because the ADP on 4for4, it's they're tight end premium leagues, because it's experts kind of, those are expert leagues. So you're getting a lot more data from a tight end premium type of league, because it evens out when you do that. And so that's why you're like fifth round. I don't see TJ coming off in the fifth round of my league. In normal tight end leagues or normal leagues, he's coming off, in the 7th, 8th round, Travis. And I think that's an absolute steal. Even in a tight end premium league, though, I think that paying a 5th round draft pick for TJ Hawkinson, he will be he's one of my favorites to be a top 3, to like really sneak up into that top 3. He was a top 5 last year, and I think he's going to do it.
Yeah, there's a few things working in his case, and you laid them out perfectly. One, the young production in the first 2 years. He's a third-year tight end. We know about third-year tight ends kind of breaking out all the way. He had a great year last year, was a top 5 tight end. Obviously, going to have Jared Goff come over, who has worked with tight ends before. But the biggest thing is opportunity, Johnny. This team in Detroit is probably the most, if not one of the top 5 in vacated targets from last year, which means Hawkinson already in there. He's going to be the guy that can now soak up all those targets and be that one safety net for this team, because they're going to need it, because they are not good. Their win total is going to be around 3 games. Yeah, Austin coming in here, Hawks got all the reasons. That's it. He checks all the boxes, and I think that was well put. And there's a reason why he's probably top in our list here. Johnny, I want to talk about a guy in Denver. We talked about Jerry Judy at the top of the show. I want to talk about Noah Fant, okay? Noah Fant was a popular breakout tight end last year, and I just got to say, if you loved Noah Fant last year, you got to love him this year, in my opinion, because he's got a lot of things going for him as well. The big thing will be, can he withstand the QB woes and stay healthy, because he definitely missed 2 games last year, had some nagging injuries there. But last year, Noah Fant averaged 6 yards after the catch. He had 383 yards after catch, which was 3rd among NFL tight ends last year. He got 17% of the target market share in Denver, which is a good news when you're looking at a young tight end and if they're getting the opportunity. He had the 7th most receptions in the NFL among tight ends last year, was 8th in yards per route run. So all these advanced metrics are there. You love that. We know about his athletic build. He's one of the most athletic, if not the most athletic tight end in the league right now, just based on spark metrics, his 40-yard time, all those things, catch radius. But here's what I love right here, Johnny. In the 185 games as an offensive coordinator or head coach, Pat Shurmur's tight ends have averaged over 8 targets per game. That is near the top among active play callers. You love where this offense is going towards tight ends. Drew Lock has been the situation has been profitable when Drew Lock is the quarterback. And then you could see a situation where even if Teddy Bridgewater got it, he's an accurate guy who's going to take the check down. And what better check down than a guy who gets 6 yards after the catch on average than Noah Fant? He's going to make you look good if you're Teddy Bridgewater. So I love it there. Obviously, Austin coming in here. The only ability Fant needs is availability. That is absolutely true. It reminds me of the Jordan Reed rule, the 86 rule. If he's in, you play him. That is where we're getting at with Fant. He needs to shake the injury bug, but you're getting him so cheap, Johnny. We mentioned the ADP here. 7th round is the tight end 8. Give me that as a guy that I can wait on. That's tight end premium, as we talked about already. So he's going even later in your standard leagues. It's all baked in there for me.
I do have some concerns, and the concerns come from, well, I'll tell you one thing. If Aaron Rodgers goes there, you're going to see Fant majorly increase, and then I would be a believer in Fant, or I would be. Hold on,
Johnny. This is now the second show in a row where you said if Aaron Rodgers go there. We just need to stop this BS. Aaron Rodgers is not going to the Denver Broncos. Aaron Rodgers is starting Week 1 for the Green Bay Packers against the New Orleans Saints.
Week 1, really? Okay, all right. Well, all right.
Sorry,
I love your confidence.
Coming in there, besmirching my guy.
I was gonna boost him. I was gonna say, like, if Aaron comes there, I'm really confident that. But I will say, if I do think Locke does end up targeting him a little bit more, and seems to have a connection. I'll give you that. I do think he's a tremendous talent at the tight end position. I am concerned with with Sutton coming back, how that could eat into that production.
Sure.
The other thing that I do have concern with, if they do end up turning over to Teddy Bridgewater, which I do believe will probably end up happening soon, at some point in this league or in this year, because he is more accurate. He doesn't in general target the tight end position that often, which that is my concern. Is that but I will say
tight ends, Johnny.
I mean, I granted they weren't nearly as talented for sure, but I mean, Kyle Rudolph, he was his tight end. What did he play like? Okay, come on. I'm just saying, hey, and Taysom Hill. I'm just joking. I'm kidding.
All right.
No, but in all seriousness, that would be my concern. But I do like the fact, that stat you brought up was pretty fire, if I do say so myself, with the 8 targets on average by the OC. I like that.
You're going to love my next guy then, but we'll get to that.
All right.
Whisper Nation, got to remind you that we're nothing without your unwavering support, and we are so proud of this community that we've built together. If you feel it upon your heart to help us continue to grow this family and chase this dream, consider joining us over on Patreon.com. You can show support at the $5 and $10 levels, and the patron benefits include access to our exclusive Discord channels, entries to sports card giveaways, increased odds for landing a spot in our 2021 Listener League, and bonus fantasy content that is available only to our patrons. Head on over to head on over to patreon.com/the Fantasy Whispers and join the nation today. You can head wherever you want, though, really.
Yeah.
If you wanted to go over to the fantasywhispers.com, you can. I wouldn't blame you for doing that. There's good swag over there, too.
Yeah.
Johnny, we got to talk about your next guy, though, and that is the Los Angeles Rams tight end, Tyler Higbee.
See what I'm doing here?
Yeah, I see you. You're excited.
Yeah.
Tyler Higbee's going in tight end premiums at 9.12 as the tight end 13. Johnny, the roads are clear for him to be a lead target getter in this offense, or not the lead, but one of the lead target getters, and maybe the second or third option on this team. How are you seeing this play out? Where are you projecting Tyler Higbee? Look, it kind of happened like this last year with Hayden Hurst. You were all over Hayden Hurst as a late round guy, but you pivoted last minute when the season started. Are you going to pivot here with Higbee, or are you standing true with Higbee as a guy who can still break out this year?
Oh, I'm sticking on this one. I sensed early on, Travis. I did just call the Hayden Hurst, and then I started to get some cold feet with that one. I jumped off that ship probably quicker than I arrived on it, to be honest with you. But I'm not doing that with Tyler Higbee. Oh my goodness. People are majorly sleeping on Tyler Higbee. If you're drafting right now, you're going to get Tyler Higbee at a tremendous value, and I'm taking him everywhere I can. Once it comes around draft time, expect his ADP to go up, because people will start realizing how much they will use the tight end in this offense. Not only that, but just how good Higbee is. And then on top of that, how much better Stafford is than Jared Goff. I want to do some breakdown comparisons to try to convince you as to why you should be looking at Tyler Higbee and taking a real serious close look at him. All right. You look at this LA Rams offense. Over the last 2 years, they have 20.7% market share to the tight end position, if I could speak, and then 26.7% to the tight end position 2 years ago. As we talked about, Travis, these wide receivers are talented. You've got Robert Woods, Bobby Trees, you've got Cooper Kupp, who we're a big fan of. And then you got Desean Jackson, and some people are on Tutu Atwell, and I still have a hope for Van Jefferson. But even though all those wide receivers are still there, the lowest tight end market share we've seen over the last 3 years in Sean McVay's offense has been 15% to the tight end. So that's the floor to me. And giving 15% to a tight end in an offense that should move the ball is very significant. Then you look at, what do those, I will say Cooper Kupp and Bobby Trees will have the bigger market share. If you're looking for a guy who's going to be the number one target on his team, look for TJ Hawkinson. That's your guy there. Higbee won't be the number one option, but he will be the number 3 option for this team. I'm very confident in that, because when you look at the Rams offense over the last 3 years, their wide receiver 3 gets on average 10% of the target market share. The tight ends always get above the wide receiver 3. So in general, this offense does actually target and use the tight end very much so. And then I'll wrap it up here by telling you that Matthew Stafford, since 2014, Travis, this is what he's averaged, mind you, in 7 years. 98.14 targets to his number one tight end, a 16.71% target market share to his number one tight end. And then once he did get Hawkinson, which was an upgraded talent, and I do believe that Higbee, although he's not as talented as Hawkinson, he is very good. Hawkinson never saw below 18.75% target market share, which is a very significant amount for a tight end. So especially one that, like you said, he's tight end 13 coming off the board in the 9th round, near the 10th round in tight end premium leagues. I think he is an absolute smash at that spot, Travis.
Yeah,
he's going to win you a championship.
I think Tyler Higbee is maybe the best late round tight end out there, just as far as what's going on with the offense. You talked about what we can paint there. He consistency when Everett was out of the lineup. Just all the things that are pointing in the right direction there. Do want to give a shout out here to Eric Zubert, who came in asking if anybody talked about Tim Tebow yet. No, not yet, Eric. We're saving your boy for you when you were watching. And Darius Rice joining us saying hashtag Whisper Nation strong. We love that when Darius Rice is in the building. We've seen him a lot in the regular season. Now starting to see him trickle in a little bit more as we get closer to that. We love to see you, Darius. If you're watching right now over on YouTube, hit us with one of those like buttons. And if you're on any platform, get us with a share. We appreciate it.
Darius got himself that draft kit.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Darius. Thank you, everyone who's purchased it. Johnny, I want to talk about our second to last tight end here. That's Evan Ingram. Current ADP and tight end premium leagues is 11-11 as the tight end 17. Look, there's a lot that we don't like about Evan Ingram. Daniel Jones is his quarterback. The offensive line had issues. He had the 4th most drop passes in the NFL last year. But there are things that we know about Evan Ingram. Like, he was a top 5 tight end in fantasy in his rookie season. We know that targets are earned, and Ingram earned 109 last year, which not only led the Giants, but was 4th among tight ends. His 790 air yards last year ranked 6th among tight ends. He also had 9th. He was 9th in completed air yards with 378 and 4th in unrealized air yards, which is 412. But Johnny, look, I get it. Kenny Golladay's there. We're going to talk about that. Look, I just think this Kenny Goliday is not somebody who has been the cleanest bill of health either. So let's talk about that for a second, that Kenny Galladay's missed time. And if we're going to bank on Kenny Golladay being what they wanted Sterling Shepard or Darius Slayton to be, both guys who got dinged up, then I think the only constant here really that we can bank on is Evan Ingram, who now just led the team in targets. And then finally, Johnny, you liked what I said about Pat Shurmur. Here's even more juice for the squeeze right here. Jason Garrett's tight ends have averaged 8.64 targets per game over his career as a play caller. So I am loving what I'm seeing out of not only Ingram's advanced metrics. We know that he's a athletic freak. I've heard people besmirch his name all over this offseason about, hey, he's being overdrafted. He's going so late. Just take him for free. And if he doesn't work out after week 2, drop his ass. I don't care. Like, just get Evan Ingram in your lineup to start the year, because the upside is there for a guy who was 4th among tight ends in targets. So we're talking about guys that can break into that realm. This is a guy that's already proved in Jason Garrett's offense that he could be a safety net. He gets the drops under control. Then Daniel Jones is already loving this guy. He's loved him for the last 2 years. Let him go out there and love him some more as the safety net in this offense, and a super athletic one at that. I'm really on Evan Ingram as a combo. You get a Tyler Higbee, you get an Evan Ingram. You get an Evan Ingram, or maybe the guy Johnny's going to talk about next. You combo this up at tight end with the last couple picks, and you got yourself an ability to try and get one, kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Is Kelvin Benjamin and Kyle Rudolph steal targets from Ingram? # reindeer games. Yeah, I mean, people are trying to talk about Rudolph as being this big target stealer. I'm not sure that it is, but potentially. And if they did bring Rudolph in to be kind of the move tight end, which I doubt they did, to be the Jason Witten of this offense, then I actually like that for Ingram too, because they'll be moving Ingram around as a wide receiver more, and that could mean more targets for Evan Ingram there. And so I'm going to bank on the talent here, and Evan Ingram to me has more talent in his left calf than Kyle Rudolph has in his whole body.
I don't worry about Kyle Rudolph taking a whole lot of targets away from Evan Ingram. I think they brought him more in for like that red zone threat, because Kyle Rudolph is one of the best red zone tight ends in the game. So that's more so why I think they brought him in, not to take targets, because you're right. Like, he can't. And a good phrase to quote you, Travis, is he can't hold his Evan Ingram's jockstrap. As far as Rudolph goes between the 20s.
Right
now, it will be a Kelvin Benjamin. That's going to be an interesting story, because Kelvin Benjamin has the body of a tight end. And if he actually decides to like really care, he could be pretty good, because he is big and athletic. I'm just saying, but I'm again, like, I thought you hit it on the head when you said where he is going in drafts is so late. It's not a 7th or 8th round draft pick that you've been having to pay for him in the last couple of years or draft him at. He is going so late that he's basically, a dart throw now. And for like you said, if you take him along with one of these other tight ends and you want to see what he does in this offense, potentially, it's a free dart throw.
Yeah, I mean, his numbers: 109 targets, 63 receptions, 650 yards, very comparable to the year that he was a top 5 tight end, Johnny, in fantasy football. So to me, it was all there. Get a little bit of the the drops out of the way, and I think Evan Ingram has a real nice season this year. All right, Johnny, we got to bring it home with our final tight end here. We're going to talk about Moe Alley Cox here. Johnny, this just kind of surprised me you brought him up, because this is my guy. I was trying to get him going last year. It never really happened, but we got Trey Burton gone. They cut his ass over in Indy, and now we've got, we got a little bit of Zach Ertz trade rumors, something like that. We've got Jack Doyle still there, but Moe Alley Cox, I mean, with the ball in his hand, he just looks like an amazing tight end after the catch. Can we get more targets for this guy? Can we get him to be a startable tight end in fantasy this year?
Yeah, so I do want to preface this with you, because we do have to talk about Ertz, right? Or that is a potential landing spot for Zach Ertz, or has been rumored to be a potential landing spot, is with the Colts. So obviously, if that happens, throw this out the window for Moe Alley, and obviously, I think Zach Ertz would be this guy, and probably Zach Ertz would start rising up draft boards. But what I'm about to say would also have the same argument if Zach Ertz came over. Ultimately, I do think I'm like with Yoon NC Phillips 1964 here, and that I think Josh Allen has a new tight end coming in, which I do think Zach Ertz ends up falling with Buffalo. So I'm going to stick with Moe Alley. I know it's a deep dive. You guys are like, he's basically going undrafted. He is going undrafted. Not basically, he is. Even in a tight end premium league.
34 off the board.
In a tight end premium league. That sounds pretty gross. I understand. But I'll tell you, he will be one of the main waiver wire guys that you will be rushing to try to pick up if you do not draft him. I am telling you. Travis had sniffed on this scent, and then like a hound, I picked it up and ran with it. And guess what? This is what I came up with, Big Travy. This is what I found. Indy, over the last 3 years, has averaged between 14 and 16% target market share to the tight end position already. That's without Carson Wentz coming over. You look at what Carson Wentz does and what Zach Ertz had as far as the tight end position in an offense very similar, 22% target market share between Wentz and Ertz. Now, I want to say, because do I think Moe Alley gets 22% market share? I don't. But what I do think is like he could very well get 15% market share, and I absolutely think with 15%, he will be a very nice streamable tight end for you. I want to point out a couple of things. Zach Ertz and Moe Alley Cox comps, all right? Moe Alley Cox is 6'4", 262 pounds. Zach Ertz is 6'5", 249 pounds. 40-yard dash, Moe Alley is slightly faster with like 0.2 of a second faster. Speed score, Moe Alley Cox has a higher speed score than Zach Ertz. He's got a higher burst score than Zach Ertz. His agility score is higher, and so is his catch radius, which is the big one. Catch radius of Zach Ertz was in the 61 percentile at 10.015, and Big Moe is a big guy. He's at 10.12, so he's a big tight end, and we know what Carson Wentz likes to do with these big tight ends to help them push down the field, and Moe Alley Cox is going to be the guy that's going to get that. A lot of people are still looking at Jack Doyle, or that could be the reason why, Moe Alley's stock hasn't improved yet. But I definitely think once, beat reporters will start tweeting it out a little bit more, and I think that people will realize they'll start picking up that scent, and Moe Alley will start rising up these draft boards. And you're going to want to get him. You're going to want to get him.
Moe Alley Cox also played college basketball, so that's something to
Bingo.
know as well.
Bingo was his name.
All right, Johnny, any final words here as we send Whisper Nation off? Please make sure, Whisper Nation, that you comment here what your favorite late-round tight end is. We'd like to know and hear from you what you believe is the guy, and in which of these five you think is actually the guy you would want the most. Unc Phillips coming in with Jacob Hollister as a nice pickup. I would be afraid of Gerald Everett coming in and kind of doing what he's going to do in that offense too. But
Anthony Ferkser would be that, just quick peeps look into him. Anthony Ferkser
is another guy that I think is a good guy to look at too as well.
I do have some closing thing. All right, we got to mention, if you're tuned in right now, we appreciate you. And to whoever watches this show later, make sure you guys come on Monday's mock draft show. We have a major special guest coming on. That's right. It is going to be so much fun. You're not going to want to miss that show. Should we reveal it now? Should we tell them now?
We did tell him on Wednesday, but Ian Hartitz from Pro Football Focus will be joining us on Monday. So make sure you guys are tuned in for that. Make sure you're ready to go, and you'll want to get one of those spots. Not sure how big the draft is we're going to do yet, but make sure you get one of those spots. For Johnny Game Time Hicks, I'm Big Travy. We are the Fantasy Whisperers. We're out of here. Peace.
Peace. Have a good weekend, Whisper Nation.
Right here.
Oh, hey, you made it to the end of the video. If you like what you saw and you want to learn how to dominate your own draft and win your own league, head on over to thefantasywhisperers.com and grab your copy of the Fantasy Whisperers Draft Kit today, or click the link in the description below. And if you're still not sold, check out one of these videos.